Insomnia. Insomnia currently affects millions of people every year. According to the American Sleep Association, nearly 70 million Americans have a sleep disorder. Insomnia is one of the most common sleep disorders, with 30% of adults experiencing short-term insomnia. About 10% of people have long-lasting insomnia. So what happens if you're not getting adequate sleep at night? Nearly 40% of people report accidentally falling asleep during the day. About 5% report falling asleep while driving. Are there ways to help you fall off to sleep easily? Indeed, there are, and you and I will look at research-validated ways to do exactly that in this episode of Easy Stress Cures and Creating Inner Harmony. Hello and welcome to this episode of Easy Stress Cures and Creating Inner Harmony. I am your host, Steve Carter, and I thank you for joining me. In brief, I've helped thousands and thousands of people over more than 4 decades release stress and achieve professional and personal success. I am the founder of Stress Solutions, LLC, and the Stress Relief Radio Network. If you'd like to learn more about my background and hear other podcasts, all focused on health and well-being, visit our website at stressreliefradio.com. Getting a good night's sleep is an important contributor to helping keep stress in check and for experiencing emotional well-being. That is why I'm sharing this information in both shows. It is important to keep in mind that the amount of sleep needed by any one given individual can vary from person to person. Typically, the optimum amount of sleep will range between 6 and 8 hours. Some people may require more sleep, and a rare few individuals may need less. Thinking back on mornings when you've awakened feeling well-rested and energized, recall the number of hours you slept and the quality of those sleep hours. If you can recall multiple times that you've awakened feeling good, and you recall the number of hours of sleep that you experienced on average for each of those times, that could be an indication of the optimum amount of sleep that you require. We all experience the occasional night of insomnia, but if you experience chronic sleep problems, it will likely make sense to talk with your doctor. Looking at research, what does research tell us about ways to help get proper sleep? According to Harvard University's Harvard Health Publishing, a good night's sleep begins during the day. Here are some tips from Harvard Health Publishing. We'll begin with daytime tips to help you sleep at night. First, keep a consistent routine. Awaken at the same time every day of the week. Get morning light. Get that morning light. Exercise during the day helps improve your sleep quality at night. It also reduces stress and it improves your mood. Don't use your bed as an escape. And, of course, avoid caffeine late in the day. How about nighttime tips to help you sleep? Prepare for bedtime by having a news and electronic device blackout. Avoid the news, avoid electronics at least 1 hour before bedtime. Unfortunately, the nonstop news cycle seldom provides new information in the evening hours that can't wait until you arise in the morning and catch up with the news at that time. News stimulates your mind, and it might incite fear, and that's going to make it harder to fall and stay asleep. You can remind yourself when it's time to shut down the news and electronic devices by setting a timer or putting your television on the sleep setting. Next, cell phones, tablets, and all electronics. We know that cell phones, tablets, all electronic devices make it harder for your brain to turn off. The light from those devices, even dim light, may delay the release of the hormone melatonin, and that can interfere with your body clock. If you absolutely must watch something, find a show that is relaxing. If you do watch television, don't watch it in the bedroom. Watch it somewhere else in the house. Far better to curl up with a book or listen to gentle, soothing music. Next, minimize alcoholic intake. This Harvard resource does acknowledge that alcohol can help some people fall asleep, but it can lead to more sleep problems overnight. Next, set a regular bedtime. There are certain times at night your body will be able to sleep better than others. If you feel sleepy but your brain is busy thinking, your brain is likely not going to be able to shut off and allow you to sleep with ease. Try sitting down with a pen and paper in the evening and write down the things that you're worried about. You can review the list in the morning and attend to any important issues or items on that list. Next up, reduce stress. The evening and bedtime hours are great times to perform some relaxation techniques, and these can include slow breathing yoga, meditation, and there are a range of other stress-releasing methods. Check for previous episodes of Easy Stress Cures and Creating Inner Harmony. You'll find a rich treasure trove of resources to help you let go of stress and prepare for a good night's sleep. Next, create a comfortable sleep environment. That can vary from person to person, but in general, your bedroom, your sleeping area should be cool, dark, and quiet. Finally, don't spend too much time in bed during the night or during the daytime for that matter. Minimize time in bed when you are not sleeping, and they suggest if you're having trouble falling off to sleep or staying asleep, again, they're suggesting don't stay in bed for more than 20 minutes. Get out of bed and do something that is easy, quiet, perhaps read a book, journal, or they suggest even fold some laundry. Leaving Harvard, let's have a look at what the Mayo Clinic suggests. They offer us 6 steps to better sleep. Number 1, stick to a sleep schedule. They suggest setting aside no more than 8 hours for sleep. The recommended amount of sleep for a healthy adult is at least 7 hours. Most people don't need more than 8 hours in bed to be well rested. An editorial comment here, they indicate most people. That doesn't mean all people. So identify the amount of sleep that is optimum for you. It will likely be 7-8 hours, but it could be more. Trust your body, trust your inner wisdom, and aim for the right amount of sleep, the optimum amount of sleep that you need. Still with number 1 from Mayo Clinic, go to bed and get up at the same time every day, and that includes weekends. Being consistent reinforces your body's sleep cycle. Being consistent reinforces your body's sleep-wake cycle. If you don't fall asleep within about 20 minutes, leave the bedroom and go do something relaxing. Read or listen to soothing music. Go back to bed when you're tired and repeat as needed, but continue to maintain your sleep schedule and wake-up time. Number 2, pay attention to what you eat and drink. Pay attention to what you eat and drink. Don't go to bed hungry or, conversely, don't go to bed stuffed. Avoid heavy or large meals within a couple of hours of your bedtime. Nicotine, caffeine, and alcohol deserve caution. The stimulating effects of nicotine and caffeine can take hours to wear off and can interfere with your sleep. Even though alcohol might make you feel sleepy at first, it can disrupt sleep later in the sleeping cycles. Number 3, create a restful environment. Just like the Harvard resource suggests, keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. Exposure to light in the evening might make it more challenging to fall asleep. They tell us to avoid prolonged use of light-emitting screens prior to just before bedtime. You might consider room darkening shades, earplugs, a fan, or other device to create an environment that suits your needs. Doing calming activities before you go to bed, such as taking a bath, employing relaxation techniques. These calming activities may promote better sleep. Number 4, limit daytime naps. They tell us daytime naps can interfere with nighttime sleep. Limit naps to no more than an hour and avoid napping late in the day. Number 5, include physical activity in your daily routine. And you want to, of course, avoid exercise or strenuous activities close to the time that you plan to go to bed. Spending time outside every day, that can be helpful as well. And finally, number 6, manage worries. Try everything you can to resolve your worries or concerns before bedtime. If something is occupying your mind, jot down what is on your mind and then set it aside so you can deal with it tomorrow. Stress management can help. Start with the basics. Get organized, set priorities, delegate tasks. Meditation can also ease anxiety. And finally, know when to contact your healthcare provider. As I mentioned earlier, Mayo Clinic tells us nearly everyone has an occasional sleepless night. However, if you often have trouble sleeping, contact your healthcare provider. They can help you identify and treat any underlying causes and help you get better sleep, the sleep you deserve. Moving on to an article from the Greater Good magazine, which is associated with the University of Southern California at Berkeley. The article title, What Should You Think About to Fall Asleep Faster? What should you think about to fall asleep faster? There's a specific method founded on research called cognitive refocusing. In a moment, you and I will join a short segment from my Healthy and Happy Senior Living podcast, where I share information about this article published online to the Greater Good magazine. After listening to that short segment from the Healthy and Happy Senior Living show, I will return with additional information that will help you get the consistent quality sleep you need. Let's join that segment from the Healthy and Happy Senior Living show right now. From Greater Good magazine, dated 8th December, what should you think about to fall asleep faster? Subheading, how you think in bed affects how you sleep. It turns out people who sleep well and those who sleep poorly have different kinds of thoughts before bed. And this continues. Good sleepers report experiencing mostly visual sensory images as they drift to sleep, seeing people and objects and having dreamlike experiences. Their thoughts likely are less ordered, even more hallucinatory, and they give the example of imagining you're participating in events in the real world. For some with insomnia, pre-sleep thoughts tend to be less visual and more focused on planning and problem solving. These thoughts are also generally more unpleasant, and they are less random compared to those who are good sleepers. People with insomnia are also more likely to stress about sleep as they're trying to sleep, and that can lead to a vicious cycle where you're putting effort into sleep, which unfortunately actually wakes you up. The article goes on to cite various studies, and they suggest you explore something called cognitive refocusing. Cognitive refocusing involves distracting yourself with pleasant thoughts before bed. It's like the fake scenarios social media users post about, but the trick is to think of a scenario that is not too interesting. Decide before you go to bed what you'll focus on as you lie there waiting for sleep. Pick an engaging cognitive task with enough scope and breadth to maintain your interest and attention without causing emotional or physical arousal. Nothing too scary here, nothing too stressful. And it goes on with some additional guidance on how to do cognitive refocusing, along with some other very helpful information. Back to our present episode, I suggest applying cognitive refocusing over the next 7 nights to see how it works, and then you can decide if this is a method that you will use consistently. I'll have links to all of the resource information I've shared in this episode. I'll have that information linked in the show notes, also known as the episode description. I'll also have another article, this one from Medical Express, entitled Insomnia Expert Offers Useful Tips for Troubled Sleeping in Lockdown. In that article, Dr. Les Gellis, a professor from Syracuse University, shares 8 tips for better sleep. Dr. Gellis is the creator of the cognitive refocusing method for insomnia. If you do a Google search for cognitive refocusing, you're going to find other broader psychological applications, but Dr. Gellis has adopted cognitive refocusing for insomnia. If you're not already following the Easy Stress Cures and the Creating Inner Harmony podcasts, there is no better time than now to follow the shows, and you can do that where you get your podcasts. You can listen to previous episodes of both shows and other podcasts focused on health, happiness, and emotional well-being by visiting our website at stressreliefradio.com, stressreliefradio.com. If you would like to share comments about this episode or to be in touch for any reason, email me at cartermethod@gmail.com, cartermethod@gmail.com. Until our next visit together, this is your host, Steve Carter, wishing for you and your loved ones blessings in abundance.